Hello again, welcome to another part of the tutorial how to make fire in the Blender game engine. And before we actually delved inside the node editor and set everything up, we need to prepare something. We need to prepare some textures which we will use for the material and scene proper material for which will take our nodes. So let's start. We would need the small texture with kind of special gradient which will run the movement of our texture inside the node editor. Some black and white texture which will define the overall shape of our flame or fire. Uh, procedural noise black and white texture which has to be tileable, and normal map generated from this tileable noise. Well, these lava textures aren't really necessary for the fire. They actually only add some more resolution and color diversity. And I am not really sure that I have legally right to share them with you. So just go to the Google or Flickr and find some lava texture type tileable, and you should find something similar or exactly the same textures. Well, we will start with the fire shape. Go to the game, for example, open new file. Some squares coordinate are best, like 512 or 512, and fill it with black and select white color, some smooth brush with uh, low opacity, and just hand draw some fire. Well, only thing that you need to keep in mind uh, that is that you need some space between border of the texture and the actually fire, and the color should be from the most dark to most light. So don't have some dark place inside of this fire. Well, this is actually good enough. Just export it somewhere as JPEG or PNG. One thing you can do for uh, lesser the memory is go to picture. I'm sorry for Czech language of this program, but you should be able to find it too. And go to flatten the image and picture, and change the RGB values for just gray values. So you will have only one black and white channel, which is uh, it should be 3 times smaller in the memory itself. Well, export this, and we can go for our procedural generated cloud. It's very easy. I don't know how it's made in Photoshop, but in the GIMP you just need a white image and go to filters, draw, clouds, and derivate clouds. You should get this kind of menu where you have to just check the tileable and play with the scale. You have to have something like this, similar to this. It's not important to have exactly same result. Well, fire should be random, so put something similar. And again, you can go to picture, flatten image, and check the gray values instead of RGB. Export it like PNG or JPEG somewhere, and you are ready to go for generating the normal map. Generating the normal map is actually done commonly with some plugins for Photoshop or GIMP, but I will show you the hard way how to make it in the Blender if you don't have these plugins. So open new file in Blender and delete default cube as always and add there plane, go to edit mode, unwrap this plane and duplicate it. Hit right mouse button so these planes are in the same position, and while the second one is selected, go to modifiers and we will displace it by our texture and then bake the normal maps from it. For the displacement we need more resolution, and the optimal resolution is same number of faces as pixels. Uh, so we have 512 by 512, so we need to divide it with subdivision surface modifier, just simple subdivisions, and 512 is actually 2 to the power of 9, so we need the factor of 9 for this subdivision. In Blender subdivisions are up to 6, so we just add second same modifier, just simple subdivisions with value of 3. And now we can go and add the displacement, set the mid level to 0, strength to 0.5, and add new texture. Well, this is just some generated texture, but we need to change it. Oh, first time, make sure you are in Blender renderer, and here instead of cloud texture choose image and find your image black and white noise, which is tileable, so also this texture will be tileable. Check smooth shading for better finding of normals, and while you have selected the displaced plane, with shift select the flat plane, go to the image editor, make new image, name it something like normal map, should be set some resolution like 512 by 512, it's good enough. We don't need any anti-aliasing, so Blender actually can't do anti-aliasing in baking, but you can bake bigger image and small it down in some image editor. But now we want just these values, so hit OK. We need just this resolution, and if you go in edit mode now, the image will disappear, so we will force it for the plane again. Just select him. Now we go to the baking option in render panel and just select normals, make sure you are in tangent space, select it to active, and if you look from the side, you can count how far we need to go to have there all texture, and I see it's actually 50 centimeters, because I see here one square is 10 centimeters. So set the bias to twice of this value, so 1 meter, and it should be all. Just hit bake, and after few seconds, well, my computer isn't really the fastest one, but you should see, well, here we go, you have your texture. Just go to image, save as image, and you can save it wherever you want, give it some name, save it for example as PNG, and you are good to go. Well, you have all these textures, now you have just the right material. So go to the new Blender and make sure you are in Blender game, in texture viewport, and in render setting, in shading, the GLSL shading with nodes enabled. Well, now you are already pretty much set up. Just prepare for making nodes, so go to node editor and make the new material. Let's go to the material node editor, select new, name it like fire, and check use nodes. Get rid of the default material, let only output here, and go to material settings, where we check and uncheck some settings. We will definitely need transparency, so check that up, and everything else could be unchecked. Backwave scaling, physics, everything. Just the game settings set to billboard face orientation, so the face will always target to the camera, and we don't need it on the cube, so delete it and place there plane, and the plane should face the positive x-axis, so just rotate it around y-axis with 90 degrees. Well, and give it the fire material. And the last thing is importing all these textures inside the Blender, and it will be all. Just in the brush textures or just textures, put there the new texture, give it some name like name1, select image, and open the image from wherever you save it, like nmy. I actually didn't show you exactly how to make this texture because it's a little bit longer, and you can see my previous tutorial on animated textures in Blender game engine, where I showed exactly how to make this one. So just go to that tutorial, and after a while you will have this texture, which you can use for any animated texture in the Blender game engine. So I will just open it, put it here the fake user, so I make sure that this texture never disappears from the Blender even if I save it out and reload somewhere else. And I can just end the editor, make new again, like noise, image, open, find the noise, open image, fake user, the normal. It's slow process, but there are not too much images to import. And final one, the alpha or fire shape image with the fire shape. Well, and completely optional is to add something that will advance your resolution, some lava, fake user, and I am ready. And with this file I will continue on the next parts, where we go just to the node editor, set things up, and we will make the nice fire effect. So get ready and check other parts.